Long before orchestras filled grand halls, and long before rock bands shook stadiums, there was just the voice. One human voice, rising in devotion, echoing through the cold stone walls of monasteries. This was music without instruments, born purely from breath and belief. It had no driving rhythm, no complex harmony, just pure, flowing sound meant for the heavens. This was the beginning of Gregorian chant, the oldest surviving form of written Western music. Our story starts in the quiet, candlelit monasteries of medieval Europe. Here, monks would gather to pray, not once or twice, but 7 times a day. Their songs weren't performances. They were prayers, sung together in perfect unity. Each note, each syllable, was a reflection of what they saw as divine order. To sing was to surrender your own identity and become part of something eternal, something much bigger than yourself. So who wrote these powerful melodies? The truth is, no one really knows. Tradition points to Pope Gregory the Great, who lived way back in the 6th century. Legend says a dove, representing the divine spirit, landed on his shoulder and sang these sacred melodies directly into his ear. Now, that might be a myth, but what is true is that Pope Gregory helped organize and standardize these chants. He wanted to give them a structure so that the entire Christian world could, in a way, pray together with one single voice. For centuries, these chants were passed down only through memory. Monks would learn them by listening, with a teacher singing to a novice, like a sacred secret whispered from one generation to the next. But this all changed in the 11th century, thanks to a Benedictine monk named Guido of Arezzo. He created a revolutionary system to write music down, using lines and symbols to turn fleeting sounds into a permanent script. His invention, which we now know as the musical staff, was one of humanity's greatest gifts. For the very first time, music could travel across vast distances and through time itself. A melody composed in a monastery in Italy could be sung 1,000 miles away in England, note for note, exactly as it was intended. Some of these early manuscripts still survive today. When you look at them, you see these thick parchment pages with black, square-shaped notes floating over 4 red lines. Their simplicity is deceptive because it hides their genius. Within those simple notes lay the foundation for all of Western music, a language that would one day evolve into the symphonies of Beethoven, the concertos of Mozart, and the sonatas of Bach. Gregorian chants were never written to entertain an audience. They were created to connect, to link the human soul with the divine. They reminded those who sang and those who listened that sound itself could be sacred. And even today, when we hear these ancient melodies, something deep inside us stirs. That slow, meditative rise and fall of the human voice seems to dissolve time, reminding us that the roots of all music, even the most complex, begin with something beautifully simple, a single note, sung with faith. The monks who first sang these chants could never have imagined what they were starting. They weren't looking for fame or creating art for applause. They were simply seeking peace. And in doing so, they gave birth to the written language of music. From these humble beginnings, a revolution was born. Music was no longer trapped in the fleeting moment it was performed. It could now be preserved, shared, studied, and built upon. The world had learned to record sound, not with machines, but with ink and imagination. This was how classical music began to find its structure, as sound became both prayer and pattern, emotion and order. Next time, we'll see what happens when the voice finally meets the instrument, as the sacred slowly gives way to the human. The Renaissance is about to begin. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.